Well, of course, the person who's at the helm of championing India-Israel relations and taking them forward is Ambassador Sanjeev Singla, who's the Indian ambassador to Israel. It's got a lot on his plate, of course, all these various aspects of it, the economy and defense relations and the rest of it. But also what happens now with I2U2, how do you build on India-Israel relations as one of the centers of India's engagement with the Middle East? And also new initiatives that are now happening. For example, Oman has just agreed to allow direct overflights over its territory, which means that you can have much quicker direct flights from Israel to cities like Bengaluru or Mumbai, and that could, of course, make cooperation that much deeper. He caught up with us for this very special conversation just a short while back. This is what he said to me. Well, who better to get a sense of how the India-Israel relationship is really progressing than the Ambassador of India to Israel, Ambassador Singla. It's such a pleasure to have you, talking to us. This has become an increasingly important relationship, right? And considering that for so many years, 3 decades, there was absolutely no contact, not even a diplomatic relationship, and now suddenly it seems to be a very close strategic relationship.
Absolutely, and I think you said it yourself, that if we look at the history of our relationship, you can broadly divide it into 3 phases. Starting from 1950, phase 1, which lasted for almost 4 decades, when there was minimal contact, and if at all there was contact, the whole relationship was sought to be kept inside a closet. And then you have the second phase starting in 1992.
We couldn't travel here, so our passports used to carry
Absolutely.
saying not allowed to visit Israel.
Absolutely. And then came the second phase starting 1992, when we formally upgraded the relationship to full diplomatic ties at the level of ambassadors. And that lasted for another 25 years till about 2017. And during this phase, the relationship did come out of the closet. There were visits from the Israeli side, there were visits from the Indian side, but even then, the entire relationship was sought to be underplayed. And then comes the third phase, which is the current phase, which began with the historic visit of our Prime Minister to Israel in July 2017, and that's when we upgraded our relationship to the level of a strategic partnership.
So strategic partnership means that we say that there are multiple areas that we're going to work on together, and which ones would they be? I mean, there's obviously defense and agriculture and drip irrigation and high technology. Which would be some of the areas that would come to your mind?
I think the real story in our relationship right now is the focus of both the leaderships, both the countries, on strengthening and deepening our innovation partnership. And that's coming from 2 countries which are knowledge economies, which are moving in that direction. And knowledge partnership, innovation partnership, that's a huge landscape which covers practically every area, whether it's agriculture, whether it's water, whether it's high-tech or critical and emerging technologies like AI and quantum.
I've spent a fair amount of time now talking to Israeli entrepreneurs since I've been here. And it's interesting that there does seem to be some sort of a synergy that can come to play. They're obviously very innovative. They're figuring out lots of things, and it comes from being a small country, and you've got to innovate somehow, and you've got to keep up, and the army experience helps with that. And at the same time, they don't have scale. So that's why if you can take some of that innovation and implement it or partner with India and do it at scale, that's when both countries could benefit massively.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there are 2 points here. One, yes, Israel has its own niche strengths as a startup nation, especially in life sciences, in AI, in cybersecurity. India, of course, has its own niche strengths among the largest pools of scientific manpower, plus now the 3rd largest startup nation in the world. But the new economy sectors on both sides are yet to discover each other completely. And that's one point we have to keep in mind, and that is where I think the future lies. We have world-class capabilities in our new economy sectors, which I don't think the Israeli side is fully aware of. And likewise, the Israelis have tremendous capabilities, which you mentioned, their ecosystem, which we are not fully aware of. And we are trying to see how we can put these 2 sectors together organically with a minimal footprint of the government. So that's one point. And second point is on the scaling, which you mentioned. There, of course, the Israeli side, Israeli entrepreneurs have to remember that India is a very cost-conscious or a value-conscious market. So yes, there are tremendous opportunities of scaling up, provided you hit that right sweet spot.
So you've got to have the innovation, but bring the price point down at a level which, and that can actually help them also, take it global. There's some of the other initiatives that we've been hearing about. Just last question is on like I2U2 and the fact that Israel's also opening up to other countries like UAE, which are again close strategic allies and close partners of India. So is India working in facilitating some of that, and how is that entire? I know there's been a lot of talk about that in the recent past.
Yes. Again, I2U2 is an endeavor to take advantage of the changing landscape in this region in the wake of Abraham Accords. And there the emphasis is on the 6 identified sectors, but I think the crucial point there is to involve private sector in executing some of these infrastructure projects in these 5 or 6 areas. And to that extent, it's, I think, still work in progress. We have 2 projects which are underway, one on renewable energy, another one on food security, both of them in India. And each of the 4 partners brings something to the table by way of contribution, whether it's technology, whether it's capital. And as you're aware, we had a meeting of the Sherpas, of the stakeholders in the UAE only about 10 days ago. And I'm sure that these 2 projects would pick up momentum, and then we can go on to bigger things.
All right. Ambassador Singla, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.